What's going on, people? This is Alexander, obviously. So, we gotta talk about this because I've been cracking up about this for the past 24 hours. And for those that don't know, since this is probably a very niche thing anyway, there is a cam girl, I guess, who I've never heard of. She's an independent cam girl, meaning she works for herself. And her name is, I might be messing this up, I think it's Belle Delphine or Bella Delphine, something like that. Okay, so she's a cam girl. And I found out about her because I saw this article about this girl yesterday where I guess her thing is that she dresses up like anime characters, like cosplaying. And she dresses up sexy, and she's very sort of like teenager-ish looking. I think she's only 19 actually. I think she is a teenager. So she's very, precocious, kind of, pedo-ish almost, in terms of, how she makes herself look. And then she has a private cam channel, and she makes apparently like $100,000 a month, a ridiculous amount of money. And anyway, so that's her background, that's her story. And she recently started selling her bath water, apparently, for $30 for these little jars. And she also recently opened up a Pornhub account, not to post any actual porn at all, though, just to post regular pictures. And she basically shafted her following out of a whole bunch of money. And I honestly found this fucking hysterical. I read this article, and I was trying to wrap my head around this, and I was laughing about it. I thought it was funny. It was funny, and I think, my opinion on it, obviously that's what I'm giving, but it was this perfect example, this perfect zeitgeist example of this peak capitalism, absolute rapacity, unbridled greed. This is a girl where she has found a ridiculously large but still niche market of desperate incel gamer men who are willing to pay her literally over $1 million a year to play video games, pull her titties out, and just be sweet and talk. She's raking in 7 figures with this. Wow, you want to talk about entrepreneurship? Wow, that's impressive. Morality aside, I'm not judging the morality of it. We could say a bunch of horrible things about how she is promoting degeneracy, and this represents the decay of American society, and the utter destruction of morals, and the lack of shame. And we could say all those things, and you know what? We'd be right. We'd be right. We could say all of that, and I think you could make a very, very good argument for the lack of scruples in all of this. You could, absolutely, 100%. At the same time, though, let's be balanced. In our assessments of people, not be so judgmental upon them. At the same time, that is undeniably impressive. That's undeniably impressive, and if there is anything that points to, or I should say reveals, the capacity to exploit degeneracy and to exploit decaying society, it is absolutely that. That would have been unthinkable even 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 30 years ago. Imagine telling your dad, your mom, 20 years ago, or your grandmother, that in 2019 there'd be a 19-year-old girl wearing a pink wig, dressed like a cartoon character, with her nipples sticking out, and she'd be making $1 million+ a year. Holy shit! Honestly, there's a level of cognitive dissonance to that. There really is. I had to sit there and think about it. This is actually possible. This is a thing that's possible in the modern world. Wow. Yeah, what does this say about society? Well, it's, what I said, my little statement I said, which I didn't expect it to be that popular, but capitalism is ruthless. Capitalism is absolutely ruthless. What do I mean by that? What I mean by that is that capitalism in its most pure distilled form, it is the systemization of greed. And that's not the entire definition, but it is a definition that we can use. If you want to capitalize something, then you are looking to create profit. You're looking to profitize it. That is, like I said, a very simple, probably reducto absurdum definition of capitalism, but it's a definition nonetheless. What does a capitalism system do? Well, it seeks to, capitalism seeks to provide exchange of value fairly and equitably amongst people doing interactions. And the way that we do that is we mark things by way of making money. We look for ways to profit. We look for ways to exchange value. And that is open to being exploited by greed quite quickly. So modern society today, this Bella Delphine girl, that is capitalism run amok. That is capitalism, in its most ruthless form. Is it good that she's doing that? Is it morally right? Probably not, but does it really matter? Does it really matter at this point? Does it really matter? I would love to see that debated in like an economic, sort of academic environment. What are the ethical implications of cam girls? That'd be a fascinating question, which I don't have answers for. I'm not giving you guys answers. I'm saying it's interesting to talk about. If you're asking what happened, watch it from the beginning. So what do you guys think about this? Me personally, I find it funny. I have to laugh. I find it funny. You kind of have to have a Joker mentality to the modern world. We live in a clown world. We live in a clown world. Things that should not make sense, should not be okay, are said to make sense and are said to be, forced into being acceptable. How do you not go insane? You have to have that Joker kind of mentality. Everything is a joke at some level. I bought 3. There is a certain sentiment among elements of, I don't want to say the manosphere, but just sort of the male sphere, causes men in general, that we will harken back to a more moral age. We will bring forth an age of, let's just say, sort of like moral goodness. And that's a very nice ideal to believe in. And I'm not discouraging people from having morals or, let's say, trying to create objective values for themselves or determine what objective values are. That's a good thing. Like, we need that. We need more of that. At the same time, though, you have to recognize that you're operating within a mad world. You're operating within a very mad world, and I find it unjust, personally, to judge people so harshly that if you hate them and, if you pass that sort of this, so we say punitive judgment upon them, that you're making anything better. Someone said that to me, like, you should be hating this. I'm like, why should I hate this? Why should I hate her? Hate's a powerful emotion. I can find it reprehensible, but it's a waste of energy to hate things. Supply and demand, cameras. Oh yeah, absolutely. 100, baby. Cam girls would not exist without demand. Capitalism has enabled women to sell every part of themselves, and capitalism has enabled men to buy it. Prostitution is the oldest profession in the world. It's the world's oldest profession. So long as there are attractive women, so long as there are women, and so long as there are men wanting sex and titillation, there will be some exchange of sexual value somewhere. That will happen regardless. It's always going to happen. No matter how moral the society, that is going to happen somewhere. Oh, state prison. Generation of men raised by single mothers. That's definitely a contributing factor, you could say. I would say, from a larger angle, from Boromir in Lord of the Rings. But I don't think I could do the accent at all. But I think from a larger, more meta perspective, and I said this before, the shift in social sexual dynamics in the 20th century, that happened because of technology. It wasn't just because of feminism caused the problems. Technology caused the problems. With the increase in industrialization, with the increase in automation, the sexual division of labor that existed for most of human history really did start to disappear. It still exists on some level. It definitely does. There's a lot of physical jobs that are still done by men. They're always going to be done by men. But the sexual division of labor classically no longer existed as it did. So there was immense economic power and immense economic value that was essentially sort of created, and both sexes were able to participate in that. You have to account for that. And it's entirely true today that a woman does not need a man to financially support her, which 100 years ago, you did. 100 years ago, you did. 100 years later, you don't. That's true. That's not going backwards. You can't reverse that at all. You can't get rid of the technology that enabled that. You know, that technology now is built into every layer of our society. It's a part of sort of the, not even the fabric, but literally the foundation itself of the modern world. So you can't get rid of that. No one has to work to see women nude anymore. No, they don't. They don't. They don't have to work at all. 100 years ago, if you wanted to see a naked woman, like you're literally like, let's back up. 100 years ago, okay? So let's go back to 1920. Let's go back to like 1900, okay? 120 years ago. You want to see a girl naked. You want to have a sexual experience, okay? What do? Well, there's really only two things. You can go to a whorehouse, because those existed. So you could go to a whorehouse, and you could pay a woman for sex. You could maybe pay for a sexual show. You could see some titties, see some nip. Great, you could do that. Yeah, or if you're going to have sex, you had to, talk to a woman, obviously in person, and try to have some sort of conversation. And women in those time periods, I might be generalizing, but this is overall true. Women were generally encouraged not to have sex with everybody and be promiscuous. So, it was a very different time period. Very, very different time period. 120 years later, if you want to see naked women, you want to see, really any kind of sexual act, you can just get on your phone, get on your computer, and with a click of a button and a few keystrokes, there you are. You're watching it. Did that change the sexual marketplace? Yeah, it did. It 100% did. Up until the 1960s, if you wanted to have sex with a woman, there was a risk of pregnancy. There was. So you had to, there had to be consideration. And a woman, if she was going to have sex, that carried inherent risks. With the advent of birth control and the proliferation of birth control usage, now pregnancy is no longer a risk. So that's no longer an inhibitor to sex. So now people can enjoy each other essentially as sexual objects without any risk other than STDs. Did that change the psychosexual marketplace in terms of how men and women viewed each other? Yeah, absolutely it did. Absolutely it did. It would be silly to dismiss otherwise. So all these things added up over the years. Did feminism play a role in that? Yeah, no doubt. But what was feminism the driver and the catalyst? Feminism did not create those technologies. Feminism did not create automation. That's a false sort of conflation, tying those two things together. 150, 60 years ago, when men were trying to create factories that sped up labor and removed manpower from the equation, were they doing that because of feminism? No, that's just, that is absurd. That's not even an argument to make. It's just an absurd thing to say. Non sequitur. So now in 2019, all these changes have compounded and add up on each other, and now we have Cam Girl selling bathwater. And I hope she sells more bathwater. I hope she sells more bathwater. I hope she starts fucking putting glitter bombs in the bathwater. I want her to create a whole fucking line of bathwater. I want to see incels buying that fucking bathwater. I hope she makes $1 million fucking off it. I am dead serious. It's going to be a whole bunch of dudes play video games buying that fucking bathwater. And it basically will represent their life. They play video games. Life is sort of like this gamification where you acquire loot and rare treasures. So maybe Cam Girl bathwater will be like the rare treasures that you get in your video games. I don't know. Maybe all the guys playing Mortal Kombat right now, spending hours and hours and hours on it, trying to get like outfits for their characters. The bathwater is just sort of another thing to win or pay for in this case. So hey, what's there to feel bad about? I don't feel bad for them. Fuck those guys. Hustle those fucking Johns. Wow, this is a burned out town. Jesus. Antifa will buy it. They have to quench their thirst during the marathon gaming sessions. Yeah, I saw a hysterical product a few days ago, and I'm not even sure what it was precisely. It was some kind of... God, I feel like, Jesus, this is like being in fucking Little Mexico right now. So this is what Kalinga looks like. I saw this hysterical product a few days ago, and I'm not sure what it was exactly. It was some sort of gamer food, like, tray setup thing where I guess I'm not even sure. I'm not even sure how to describe it. Basically, it was like a food tray, like it's sort of like a TV dinner sort of like food tray that you, I guess, put in front of yourself, but it's for playing video games, and it had like sections in it to have like a Mountain Dew cup, to have, I guess, candy, whatever the fuck, and then like it had like sort of this grooved inlay for like your controller and your wrists and your hands, you know, which I guess, you know, makes it more comfortable to play the game. Yeah, and I saw that. I think it was, where could I see that being advertised? It might have been on, I don't know if it's like a YouTube ad or Instagram, or Twitter. I couldn't tell you. I just saw the ad. I remember seeing the ad. I can't remember where I saw the ad. It's probably not good. But I saw the ad, and I was just kind of cracking up. I'm like, there's a market for that. There's a market for guys, you know, who literally, you know, like they are the stereotypical cliche of the video gamer, and they need like a food tray to like hold their Hot Pockets and their Mountain Dew, and also but not get their like controller dirty at the same time. Like that exists. That's a thing that exists. Should we only respect thoughts? Well, you have to define different levels of respect. There are different levels of respect. You can respect somebody for their goodness. You can respect somebody for their actions. You can respect somebody just on the basis of, I acknowledge that you are doing your thing your way. You know, there's different levels of respect that way. You know, it's like, well, you know, what does it mean, you know, like to respect someone? Well, you know, it can mean a lot of different things. You know, should we respect thoughts? You know, as being representative of being good women? No, not really. You know, can I respect the fact that they're, you know, making money in a capitalized world? Yeah, they are. 100%. They're empowered, so hey. Yeah, how do we define empowerment? Yeah, that's a great discussion to have. Like, how do we define female empowerment? If it's the ability to make a fuckload of goddamn money, you know, which could kind of be in line with like sort of like the RP Playboy almost kind of ideal. Like, you know, how do you become like a fucking real man? You gotta fucking stack cash. Now, how do you become a real woman? You gotta stack cash. Now, a false equivalency, but they are doing that. They're stacking fucking money, so good for them. I'm not gonna hate somebody's hustle. A waste of time. Big waste of time. Alright, if I'm driving through an oil field, so if the connection cuts out, guys, that'd be why. God, what is this place? Wow. Anything else, guys? Anything you want to talk about? Anything? Questions, comments, considerations? Do you have a based view on snitching? Wait, what? I don't know what you're asking. Well, dude, my prison time, it was 2 months in county lockup. Let's not exaggerate. Yeah, this in general, don't reveal secrets. That's not like a jail talk version. It's just in general, just don't share secrets. If someone confides in you and then you go tell on them, that's not trustworthy, period. Yeah, unless you have some sort of like moral imperative for doing that, where, yeah, maybe they told you something that, you know, is putting someone's life in danger. Like, I mean, I'm sure there's some situation where you can rationalize it, but just don't break trust. Honestly, that's a simple answer. Jesus.